And now, Jabroni Studios, in association with Big Herm Productions, is proud to present to you, recording from an undisclosed location in Oakdale, Connecticut, it's Chris Burns, it's Chris Lynch, this is Dysfunction Junction.
I don't quite know how we're going to put Ozzy Osbourne, Pam Bondi, and random bullshit together, but damn it, if anybody can, it's the three of us. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sit back, put your feet up, put your book down, put your glasses on, roll them to the end of your nose if you're having trouble seeing that 4-inch screen you're probably watching us on, and say to yourself, welcome to motherfucking Dysfunction Junction.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, I'll be right back.
Hugo, that's the producer extraordinaire. I'll do this in reverse today. The producer extraordinaire, the man with no hair. Michael P.S. Herman is Big Herm going to corral some dogs.
Take care of some air conditioning issues.
Yes. And, of course, the Possum King himself.
Yes, Chris Lynch. It's hot as balls out there.
Dude, as hot as it was here, and I was out and about for part of the day, as thick as a brick out there, but to hear Herm tell his air conditioning woes, and I know how hot it can get out there, bro. Nope. I'm just glad I got my tower cooler right here. I'm downstairs. This place is cool as fuck down here. If I did this from upstairs, I'd be sweating like OJ waiting for the verdict.
Yeah. Basement apartments are really cool.
This isn't really. If you have a basement in an apartment like this, but my room upstairs, on the.
You turn it into
go ahead.
Yeah, you turn it into like a little suite.
Oh yeah, Emma. This is where Emma
always
stays.
So much cooler. Yeah, it's always so much cooler.
Yep, this is where Emma stays when she comes down here, and I always say, "Don't you want to come upstairs in my room? Got the big TV, got all the streaming shit." Nope. I'll use your laptop. I'll sign into Netflix. Whatever. She's cool as fuck down here.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I like summer. I love summer. My favorite season of all time, next to the beginning of fall football season type weather. But the humidity is just kicking my ass this year.
Anybody who knows me knows I hate fucking summer. This is my least favorite season of the year. Second least. Winter and summer are like duking it out for first place. I like spring and fall.
You like that in-betweener bullshit.
That's my if it got no higher than like 72 degrees, not humid, or just a little bit of humidity, and it was like that all the time, bring it the fuck on. I've never done well in hot. I've never done well in heat ever, even as a little kid.
When I lived in Florida,
it sucks.
When I lived in Florida, you don't get the humidity really. So 85 doesn't feel like 85 does here.
Well, I'll vouch for that. But there are certain pockets of Florida that do get humid. With like the intercoastal and especially on the east coast of the state can be quite humid on some days.
Sure.
But down in Key West, it was 92. Yeah, it was hot. But as soon as you walk outside, you didn't like give yourself a fucking shower from the head down.
Right.
From sweating. That's what I can't fucking stand.
I mean, this is no word of a lie. I've already changed shirts twice today.
Dude, so last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, most of Thursday, I was in the warehouse almost all day. I went through 3 shirts on those 3 days when it was like in the high 90s.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. But, I plan ahead and think accordingly.
I've taken now, I've been at my job a year. It really didn't bother me last year, and I don't know why, but this year, the heat in the kitchen area is killing me. I pack 2 or 3 shirts in my vehicle when I leave the house.
Yeah, you have to. When you're in a hot stove kitchen area, and then you got like me when you're in a fucking warehouse that has no fucking ventilation. I mean, it's just got ceiling fans that are 30 feet up in the fucking sky, moving that little pocket air around.
Yeah, the cold zone, like Mr. Freeze in the movie.
Yeah.
If we all huddle here, we can get cool.
Unfortunately, there is not one zone to be had in that back room.
Understood. What am I
all the
looking?
same.
Understood.
What are you wearing? What's your hat?
Oh, it's a little cross that says if you turn it sideways, it says faith.
Oh, that's a pretty cool hat. I like that logo.
Yeah, I'll get you one. They're $5 online.
That's cool, man. That's cool. That's cool.
Ordered a bunch for the guys at church, and because Chris can't count, I was supposed to order 8. I ordered 12, so I gave a couple away. I kept a couple. So I'll give you one of mine that I haven't wore. It'll be a black hat with the white logo.
I like that too.
So that'll be yours. If I can't, this is the only one I've worn, really.
Sweet, so, man. You know I like my hats.
I do. Now, if you could just get rid of the 40 pounds of hair attached to your chin.
No. This is forever. It lives here now.
It lives here now.
It moved in. It moved in. I didn't tell you it moved in back in February.
It got a pulse.
Yeah. It gets a little angry once a month. So I think it definitely identifies as a female.
Well, you could do, oh, Jesus. You could do like my buddy Billy does and grows the big-ass beard until about late April, early May. He cuts it down to a goatee, and then in October, he just grows it out again. It's like a cycle. But he only gives the shortness like 2-3 months. The big beard is like 9 months.
Well, you got to figure, I've had this I started the beard after I got out of rehab. That was in March of 22. So this is 3 years of growth. Yeah, it has gotten longer, but I trim it the fuck up. When I go to get my hair cut, I have them shape it and lift it. No, you have to. You have to. Otherwise, it gets fucking ratty. I mean,
I believe you.
Having a beard is like, actually, like, I understand what women go through with their daily hair routine, because it's kind of the same with beards. When you get a big bushy beard like that, you got to wash it. Not every day. You don't want to do that because then your skin's going to get irritated.
Mm-hmm.
But every couple of days, you got to get in there, get a good scrub, and then you actually have to condition it and get a good conditioner and leave it in for a while. Then there's the aftercare where you put beard oil, and the beard oil is more for your skin. So it's a half an hour process. I can imagine. I fucking get it.
He's Frank the feminist right now. He's Penny with a penis.
Yeah, Penny with a penis. Yeah. I mean, I get it. My Megan wants to take a flat iron to it someday. See what it fucking looks like.
That wouldn't suck. Just have it be ZZ Top.
Yeah. I'll figure out what you could do.
You know what you could do for Halloween? Color it in strips, orange and black. Ooh, now that could be fun.
There you go.
Yeah, you could Dennis Rodman the shit out of it. Just make all sorts of different colors.
Years back when I had a little bit of a beard, I dyed my beard green for St. Patty's Day. That was like 2009, 2010.
Mm-hmm. You know, when I was rocking the big chin biscuit, it went through a couple different colors. I can't do it anymore. I don't have the patience. I'm going to be upset because I want to grow my hair out a little bit for Halloween. Not a lot. My hair is like that big right now, and it's annoying me. So I'm thinking, can I make it till October to do the hairdo of the costume that I want to do?
Oh, boy.
Not sure. But we'll find out. I don't have your patience, man. That beard, it might be 6-7 weeks in. I'd want to cut my whole face off.
Well, see, I actually do it as a reminder. It's a start. It was the start of a new life for me, or continuation of a new chapter in life. And it teaches me to stay patient.
Very cool.
Gives you something to focus on.
Absolutely. All right. Are we going to wait for Herm, or do we want to dive right into one of these topics?
Let's get the Bondi Triangle out of the way.
Herm's going to be mad. We're starting without him. All right. I'll give you my take on it. When she made that comment in February, I have the files. They're on my desk, ready for review. The list is in there. You'll have them. And then a few weeks ago, she said, we're going to be releasing the list. And all of a sudden, there is no list. I'm maybe the outlier on this. I don't blame the president. I don't blame the administration. I blame the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, because you told us there was this document, these documents, plural. Now you're telling us that the thing we wanted to see the most is not there. Okay, he's back. I'm of two minds of this, and I want to get what you guys have to say about it. But I think the blame falls firmly on her desk, if there is a desk. Maybe there isn't a desk.
I'm going to have to tend to agree with you.
Okay.
Not only is she to blame, but for that, she's also to blame for any tarnish of reputation that comes on the FBI because of this. Because they were praying for the list, and Kash Patel and his boss flat out said, "We've seen it." They're not going to lie, I don't think.
Yeah,
because Kash Patel.
Can we? Yeah, but let's look at who the players in the game are. Let me finish my thought.
Go ahead. Let me finish my thought. Kash Patel is the first guy in the FBI, any correlation to the FBI, actually stirring things the fuck up and trying to get shit done the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I've listened to several interviews and read several interviews about him and with him. Like him or hate him, I don't think he's a liar. I've watched a lot of Senate inquiries that he's been deposed for, and he's not afraid to push back when he feels it needs to be pushed back. He and his boss worked tirelessly to build this case to prove what they thought was the truth, and was told from this bitch that the list existed. To me, does that just make anything they did fall apart? And it makes them look fucking stupid.
Well, I don't know if the FBI.
The FBI has a lot. This was one of the big things that they were riding on about.
Right, but I think the CIA,
federal agencies.
I think the CIA is a little bit more complicit than the FBI in building this.
CIA, I would fucking believe, absolutely, because they've killed they're fucking domestic terrorists. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Correct. Yep.
FBI, I have a little bit more faith in them that they're actually trying to do the right thing, because anything that they've said that was going to happen, it's either happened or it's leaning that way. They haven't really done anything that make me not believe what they're touting. She should be okay. Like Ghislaine Maxwell go then. You convicted her based upon shit from that list. Witnesses were called based upon shit from that list. Where's the list? That's it. That's all I got.
Between Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, and if I'm to believe what I've been reading, Dan Bongino has not been back in his office since the revelation, if you will, that there is no list. Because, again, Dan Bongino, former Secret Service agent, former cop, now he's the deputy director of the FBI, right beneath Kash Patel. Like you said, they've wanted to see this no matter who's on the list, and I've got a theory about that later on as well, because there are some people who just don't want to believe what I'm about to say in just a little while. Don't let me forget that point about the list. But Dan Bongino's pissed. Kash Patel is pissed. I know there are a whole lot of people, Republican, Democrat, all the way down the line. And hey, way to go, Pam Bondi. If you did one thing good, you now have Republicans and Democrats on the same page going, we want to see the list.
I was just going to say, you have a united front on one thing. Congratulations, Pam Bondi. The one thing you did right.
Yeah, you've done what the last four presidents could not do, and have bipartisan agreement that we want this list out in the public. Herm is stirring. Look at him.
No, I kind of know where Herm's going to go.
The only reason both sides want the list is to weaponize it, bro.
Pretty much.
We won't let Iran have nuclear material because we're afraid they're going to weaponize it. That's all that both sides want this list for, is to fucking weaponize it. Turn everything into a complete fucking shitstorm. I'm not saying the list does or doesn't exist, but honestly, the list coming out does no good for any of us at all.
Lee Elsey.
To weaponize it against someone else that we're already fucking mad at and are using other weaponized shit against anyway.
Lee Elsey
do is divide us more.
Yep. Lee
Right,
Elsie made two
exactly.
great points in the last week that I agree with, and which went to my point because I thought this immediately after there is no list. If we just got out of 4 years of a Democratic president, Democratic FBI director, Democratic CIA director, Democrats in all these appointed positions. Democrats out there within the sound of my voice, if Trump were on that list, we'd have known about it already. They would have said something. They would have used it.
He is on the list. We've already admitted
He is on the list.
We wrote it. We all know
He's
it.
on the flight. He's on the flight list. I think the list they're talking about is the ones that got into all that diddy diddling.
No, but
Well,
that's the
listen.
problem. That's the only list. It's the flight list. The flight list is everybody who went there. There's problem is that there's no dissemination matrix for them to figure out who was there legit and who
one of us could have went there on a business deal, done no diddling. Does that make us
right? And that's
complicit?
right. Trump's name's on it. Hillary's and Clinton's are both on it. There's all kinds of legitimate people that are on it. People that
Prince Andrew, the guy who ran Israel
Right.
just before Netanyahu, can't remember his name.
Like if I go to a nightclub and I dance there all night every weekend, and all I know is the owner's cool, do I know that he's fucking packaging meth and cocaine with naked titty Malaysian bitches in the back?
No.
I didn't know that. He was doing that there, but I was not at that club. I was at the let's drink and dance part of that facility.
That's going to bring
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's going to rear up the second half of my argument is that I knew Herm was going to say that. They're going to weaponize it. And all right, Trump already admitted that, yes, I've been to Epstein Island. He came out and said it. Okay.
And he cut ties with him around 2013, 2014 for some unknown reason.
Correct.
But again, yeah.
Correct. And there's a lot of other names on that list
Right,
who are just nobodies.
For Trump, it literally could have been because Epstein, what we're seeing, the hostility and shit that we're seeing within his administration, Putin isn't doing what I want him to do. I'm gonna get mad and take my ball and go home, or make punish him. Literally,
we made this
with that behavior.
We made this point a couple months ago. We made this point a couple months ago. It's that just because you're on the list doesn't mean you're guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And
I could have gone to a Diddy party. Doesn't mean I oiled anybody up.
Guilty by association only works in certain circumstances.
Correct.
If I'm driving a car with an open container of liquor, and I'm drinking and driving, or one of my friends is drinking and driving, and I'm in the car, guess what? I'm guilty by association because I allowed it to happen. I'm the owner.
Did nothing to stop it.
And literally, it's because it's within your reach.
Right. I could stop it.
Yep.
And I'm guilty by association. That works. But just because you check, like Herm said, just because I go to a nightclub every fucking Friday night and shake my titties in my big beautiful Latin ass, doesn't mean I know what's going behind the sausage door. I don't know. I don't know how the sausage is made.
How many people went to Studio 54 and didn't know they were running, a skimming scheme or a Ponzi scheme, or, I'm sure if you went to Studio 54, you knew coke was everywhere and you knew heroin was everywhere.
They were passing that out.
90% of the
the darker
but
shit
they don't know
out on display, and cocaine in that environment was not a darker thing. That would have been like going to fucking Epstein's and ordering a Mai Tai.
Right. Did I do cocaine at Studio 54? Someone could say yes. Where did it come from? I don't know. Somebody handed it to me.
No, it was you just got it. You know what I mean?
They're the end of the list. It's like buying nice speakers off the back of a truck for your stereo. You're the end. You don't know where those speakers came from. You don't know where a lot of this stuff comes from. So the second part of that point Lee Elsie made, it was also a point that I wanted to make if we ever spoke about it, and we are. Now we are in a position where, what if, and this is big what if, there's a lot of people that have been really, really quiet about this, even though they screamed about it for years. And I'm not saying they're on the list, and I'm not going to say any names, but there are a lot of Democrats that were crowing for this, and now they're suddenly silent. Okay, fair. That's not my point. My point is this is the Trump administration. This falls on, no matter what happens, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, this falls on Trump's lap. It's not the Bongino administration. It's not the Bondi administration. Is he protecting someone? Is Bondi protecting someone? If there is really a list, And now they're not going to put it out.
Or is it
who are they protecting?
Or literally, and there is a third option. Is it literally the alligator mouth running away from the canary ass that we do sometimes see quite often with this administration? There seems to be a lot of braggadocious talk, and then sometimes like, no. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying there is a third option. It could just be we were fucking running our fucking mouths and nobody was talking. The right hand wasn't talking, and nobody. We all have different stories. We should have fucking had a powwow.
Well, there's a fourth point that I wanted to. This is all me. A friend of mine asked me this question over the weekend, and I kind of, you know me, I like to read a lot. I'll explain if you ask me a question. He said, "What if it was found that Trump was on Epstein Island," which we all know he was, but he was doing some diddling? I said, well, first they'd have to, have the evidence in front of them. It would have to be so incriminating. Then they start the articles of impeachment. Now, if it goes that far and he's found guilty, they can start the removal process of the 25th Amendment.
And because we know it happened outside of his presidency, he is under the full extent of the law for it now.
Correct. And it's kind of sad, but it isn't sad. I'm glad this person who usually just thinks Trump did everything wrong asked me this question and says, could this happen? I said, and I walked him through every step of the way, all the way down to, and if he is guilty and the impeachment goes through and he's found guilty, he's not only going to be removed from office, but they will start a federal trial against him for criminal wrongdoing.
It's so hard to reform is going to have to do their job on him.
Correct. And the beautiful thing about having this conversation was I tried to explain this to you with Obama when everybody's like, Obama wasn't born in the States. I'm like, dude, you don't know what they go through just to get their name on the ballot. They have to get vetted by the DOJ and by the FBI. It isn't like applying for McDonald's and saying you were born in Worcester, Massachusetts, and you're actually from Haiti. You have to have all that shit right in front of you. You have to have more proof than just peeing in a cup and saying, I'm from Illinois. Well, I heard it on the news. If you heard it on the news, it would have been major headline shit. Barack Obama would be under a jail right now if he were not born in the United States, if he faked all his documentation and he became president being a foreign-born person. Sorry, this is the truth. I know some people don't like it very much, but it's the truth. And when it comes to this administration...
most people don't know. Most people are uneducated when it comes to... I was the son of somebody who was American and born on an international base. And most people are just born where they're born and they stay there. Mm-hmm. And so they don't really know what the fuck's going on. And
if you were born...
How that goes.
Herm, we have a friend that was born in London on an American Air Force base, and he still to this day claims he can't be the president. Not that I'd want him to be president. I would, because I'd be vice president. So if Chad were, our friend Chad wanted to run for president, he was technically born on an American installation. He could do it. And if you were Barack Obama, whether you're born in Hawaii,
although the current administration is kind of taking shots at that.
Yes and no, but I mean, look at it this way.
In some circumstances,
you got me.
And they're pulling that and like,
right. What they're talking about is anchor babies, not
right. Like Trump's two youngest kids.
Trump's an American citizen. Those aren't anchor babies.
Actually, those children were born out of wedlock previously to him and her being a citizen. Those children are. Those two children.
He's still an American citizen, but to the most technical term, you're right.
Because they weren't married, she was also not naturalized and not an American citizen. Technically, his youngest two children fall under that same.
I see your point.
Boxes for that.
Sure, but again, when you walk that backward, and I know you're a smart man, and I know where you're going with this. You're pointing out the hypocrisy of his
Yes, and that's
his administration.
That's exactly what it is. If you go back and look at the circumstances when they happened in the timeline, technically those children fall under the same category as some of the children you're trying to get rid of.
But the difference being is that Melania, I'm also no fan of hers, but she naturalized. She went through the process, and to her credit, did so willingly. She could have just stayed married to one of the richest men on earth and just said, I am American now. I married an American. Well, no, she did the right thing. Somebody in that marriage has to. Might as well be her.
Yeah, right.
But again, to your point, I think there's a lot of hiding going on with this on both sides. And this benefits no one other than the people who could be implicated. Doesn't benefit us as the American people, although we'd like to know which of not that either any of the three of us trust a lot of our government, which of them can we trust even less than we do now?
Right. I mean, there's honestly, there's no benefit, or there's truly no benefit to society if we all know.
Mm-hmm. Because nothing positive can come of this. From finding out. There's no positive benefit. There's no positive impact.
Right. It's not like there's some amazing policy change that's going to change the world as the result of this. It's not like anybody's going to be like, oh, I got to change the error of my ways. It's none of that. Nobody's going to be like, I did do it. None of it. And nothing positive is going to come out of it. Other than people are positive, they hate someone else who thinks different or believes something else, or just more hate. It'll just hate.
Go ahead, Lynch, please.
No, I find it also interesting about the fragments of MAGA that are enraged at the revelation that there is no list. And it's growing daily. I think it's going to be a rough ride for people who are hardcore Republican or more of a conservative republic to.
You think this is the thing where
distance themselves further? Distance themselves further from the MAGA.
This is the one they actually decide to say it and go, he lied to us?
Yes,
exactly.
I'll tell you what.
Exactly.
Yes,
what I'm asking.
I'll illustrate that for you.
One, because there's been 4 or 5 of those so far, and they haven't clicked. So
the same guys you see, yes, and I'll explain. The same guys you see riding around town with their flags, their Trump flags, and their MAGA this and whatever they're driving, also have their T-shirts that say "Kill your local pedophile." This could be the icing on the cake to have them go, where we sold a bill of goods. Did Make America Great Again, which I still think is a fantastic slogan. However, it's been bastardized by some of these idiot, toothless jackasses. This could be the tipping point. Absolutely. I think this could tip the apple cart directly over. Because they'll have to realize...
This right here is a big slap in the face.
Exactly.
The other ones were like little love taps on the wrist.
This is Serrano. This is Serrano on the third strike. I come to you. I prayed to you. I believed in you, and you did this. I say, fuck you, Joe Boo. That's exactly what's going to happen.
And
all right,
it's that divide between the normal Republicans and MAGA is going to get even deeper.
Because I got to be honest, I literally am watching all of this since January. I'm wondering when that moment. You're like, oh, this is the one. They're going to lose.
I've been waiting for it.
It fizzles out, and they're like, nope, they just suck it up, and they're good with it. And then it's the next one, and you're like, no, we lied to you, and they're like, no, not really. We're okay with it. And I keep wondering, when is what's the fucking straw that they finally like, all right, you know what?
Because this is such a big deal to them.
Fucking lied to.
People voted him in based upon this information. He was riding on it on his fucking ticket. The Epstein files will be released.
And MLK and JFK and all the rest of that
all these files are all this secrecy gone. He ran. That was his promise to America. One of his promises to America. And this is the one that hurts the most because we kind of were teased with the stuff about JFK being released, which really amounted to nothing because most of the documents all have redacted information in them.
Oh, of course. If you think for
one
second,
you completely released
if you know when
redacted documents. Yep, I released everything we had.
Yeah, if you honestly think, those of you out there, I don't think Lee Harvey Oswald was the only shooter, but I also don't think the CIA killed him. And if anybody out there thinks that there's going to be this miraculous file that you open up and you're going to have the CIA writing down, we killed JFK.
I'm going to say the following people were involved in the JFK assassination.
That's such
Smith, Billy Bob, Eric, and Mark. Like,
it was, yeah. And I've told this to people for years. If this were a CIA op, this is a black op. If you get caught, we have no knowledge of you. Nope. This is under the table, under the rug, under the floor.
Yeah, you're not. You don't have a passport on this mission. You don't have ID. Nope. If you get caught, you don't have anything that says USA on your uniform.
Yep. And this goes to something. This goes to something that. We've had these conversations, and you guys are intelligent enough to say, yeah, you're right. For all these people out there on the Republican side or the Democrat side that are pointing fingers and, well, I heard and I happen to know, well, here's your chance. Show your evidence. Because what's in that file, I'd rather read the whole file if they release it online and sit for 3 days and go through all 700 pages of the document. And at the end go, all right, I feel better. At least I have the document. I've read it. Much like the Big Beautiful Bill, some 900 pages. I read about 300 pages of it. I still don't know why people are upset.
I read about half of it.
Yeah. And I don't see what people are so upset about because, they're going to take away my Medicare. Had that conversation with a friend of mine. I'm like, no, they're not taking away your Medicare. You're a citizen. No, but I heard, stop listening.
They're not. They are changing certain things.
The requirements.
It's required and how you have to file. That are definitely going to cause some issues for some people, but they're not stopping Medicare.
The biggest sticking point.
Medicare, what they're in order to make that reform work, it's kind of like when you go for disability.
Yep.
Everybody, when you go for disability, they literally tell you it takes 3 tries. You go, you get denied. You go, you get denied. You go a third time, they make you wait, and you get approved. That's the system. Basically, all they're doing with Medicaid is in order to attempt to cut back on some fraud and theft, they're
pushing Herm out of the broadcast.
What they're doing is having employment.
That's I have no idea what happened just now.
Hey, I'm back.
The CIA knocked us down.
That's it. They're in. They just logged in. They're changing the requirements and also changing how you connect and handle some of your like filings and shit in your paperwork. And they're going to a more electronic.
And there's going to be there's going to be employment requirements.
Yeah, and and I'm not. Some of the work requirements aren't. I get some of the work requirements. But I also understand that there are people that aren't going to be able to make that requirement because of their situation that are definitely going to lose some support and some of the stuff that they need. That's if it's bad for me, if it's bad for one person, it's bad for everybody. That's kind of usually how I
to your point, I think, the requirements, if you are partially disabled and you're on the Medicaid and you have to meet a certain requirement, if you cannot, that's up to you and your doctor to make that proof to say, you can't just say, well, I can't. Whereas you could before, well, I can't. Okay, here's some Medicaid. You now have to have the proper proof that you are what you are. Herm, the Burn, hanging with the devil. Who's the devil? I guess that's you, Lynch. Sarah Cleveland's in the house. Hello, beautiful. How are you tonight?
Hello.
What up,
Hello, Sarah. Hello,
So, yeah,
Sarah.
it's not like they're going to come to, say, our friend Christine's house, who had a stroke last year, who's in very bad shape, and maybe cannot work the 60, 80 hours a month. But they're not going to take it away from her.
There's still going to be medical exceptions and exemptions.
Correct.
And all they hear is the bad news. Because with a bill can't all be bad news. There has to be a balance between. That's why it passed. Because 50% agree, 50% disagree. All right, it's 50-50. We can push this through. You can't have
Thank you for pointing that out, Sarah. I didn't just notice your name till now, Dr. Beelzebub.
Yeah.
You twat waffle.
Oh, yeah, I forgot I did that tonight.
Here I am thinking Sarah's having a stroke. She'll be on Medicaid next week. Just kidding.
Yeah, there's going to be
She's
those
blind in one eye and can't really see out the other. So,
She doesn't have to. She's awesome. She's Sarah Cleveland. Go ahead, Lynch. I'm sorry.
No, I'm good.
All right. So, yeah. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, we still got a little bit of time to wax philosophically about Pam Bondi. And this is on her. Let's be clear. This begins and ends with her making the statement in February live at a press conference. I have the list. It's on my desk. It's ready for review. And then changing her tune 5 months later. Why? Why? If you didn't lie in February, why are you lying now?
Or which part of that is the truth?
Right. Which
is there really a truth?
Lie? What part is the lie? Now you got to go. What part is the fucking lie?
Right.
Yeah. Is there a truth in any of it?
Or was the lie the lie?
Right.
Your Honor, you see,
fumigate.
You see what happened was
upon this court.
You see what happened was, Judgy Wudgy. I had to go apply for jobs to keep on the welfare.
What's the Will Smith one? You see, you think I'm lying, don't you?
You think I'm lying, huh?
You didn't say shit yet. You think I'm lying, don't you?
You think I'm not. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
It looks bad no matter how you no matter what angle you try to view it from.
Mm-hmm. She could have sat at that press conference in February and said, I can catch a fart and paint it green. I would have believed that if she came back and said, you know what, I tried it, and all I got was a stinky hand.
I guess the fucked up part is that he's the first one. If he says something he don't agree with or like, I don't care. I don't care what she says. Iran has that shit. We've heard that. We've heard that before. So he didn't lose his shit on her when she said, we have the list. It's on my desk. But then he didn't lose his shit either when she said there isn't a list. So his reputational behavior and his history of behavior, for some fucked up reason, leads me to believe that both of those statements, based on his reaction and body language, could possibly be true. Two statements can be true.
The non-committal or the non-answer is an answer.
Right, you know what I mean? Like the lack of him saying anything that she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, like he's very, very comfortable doing if somebody's done it. In both cases, now makes you question, well, wait. His behavior is in line with both of those statements being true.
And I'm certainly not coming to his defense, but he did say,
I'm not trying to stab him in the back either. I'm you know what I mean? Like we're observationists.
Right. And in his defense, as much as I hate defending anything he does, he was asked during they were having the press conference about Texas and the aid that's going down there and everything that's being done. And well, sir, the Jeffrey Epstein files, his answer, he could have just said, look, he could have cut out the first part and just went with what we have going on in Texas has my attention right now. But he starts with, are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein, this creep?
Like he's trying to discredit you asking the question, not just being like, we're not, I'm dealing with Texas right now. We'll talk about that tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, I'll get to you.
Right. Just if you're going to be the straight shooter you say you are, be like, look, we'll deal with that when we get to that. But right now, this is really important. And he could have shut him down. And is the immediately defensive action of, are we really talking about that? Yes, sir. We're still talking about that. You campaigned on it. It was supposed to be one of your promises to us. And I don't mean us. I just mean us, the American people that you promised, not
right
or anything like that. Just not a fan. Just that's what you promised the American people.
The few that are now losing their ever-loving fucking minds because they're finally realizing sometimes people are right. Not one political party or another. Sometimes people in general are right.
Mm-hmm. And I believe. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And Herm cut it perfectly. This falls in line with he thinks both these statements are true based on how his reaction to it.
We had a list.
And then his defensive reaction. His defensive reaction when asked about it. Are we still talking about him? Yes.
Well, yes, sir, because
yes, we are, because you said on one of these microphones to the world, I promise you this.
This was one of the tenets.
Now you're okay with her saying there is no list?
This is one of the tenets of your campaign. This was
I would be losing
one of the boards mind. This is one of the boards in your soapbox.
Right.
I would be losing my ever-loving fucking mind. Bitch, you told me there was. Where is it?
Right. The Trump we know, she'd have been fired the next morning. If that was even the slightly, if there was anything fucked up with that, she'd have been fired.
Silence.
We know this.
Silence speaks volumes.
Screaming answer on this one.
Silence is speaking in volumes. Your silence. I mean, if I had any ounce of sympathy or empathy for you, it's completely gone now. Gone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't support you. I didn't vote for you.
Right.
I mean, come on. I'm a guy who can be led with realistic opportunities and goals. You don't know how to do that. Alligator mouth. Herm said it perfectly. Mm-hmm. Alligator mouth taking bites that you can't fucking chew. And when the push comes to shove, you turn into a church mouse.
You know, this is Rudy Giuliani saying it's at the Four Seasons, and landscaping, not hotel.
Right.
Literally, it's opening. It's opening the mouth, but I think somebody missed a tidbit of information somewhere. And I don't know. It screams that he knows both statements are true and he's okay with everything, but I don't know. That's the part that kind of throws me off is his behavior on this. We've seen everybody he's hired say shit and then back it the fuck up, and then say more shit and back it the fuck up, and then you see him back or not back based on how he thinks that went down. We saw it with Hegseth. Not that big a deal. This is kind of a big deal, buddy, but you're acting like it's a big deal rather than, but you're also not doing anything. And that's it. It's the not doing anything that is causes questions.
I don't necessarily know. And I'd love to hear anybody live here in the comment section, junctiondysfunctionshow@gmail.com, wherever you want to send this answer. I don't know anybody in my lifetime that has voted for the winner of every election every time out. I don't. So we all have this time in our lives where the guy we vote for isn't the guy who won. Or the lady, in this case, 2 cases, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris. The person we voted for didn't win. It's still our government. It's still our country. It's still our lives. And I do think, regardless of what side of the aisle you sit on, at some point, the faith of the American people has to be rewarded. And whether you like Donald Trump or hate Donald Trump, or whether you liked Joe Biden or you hated Joe Biden, and I'm not going all the way down the list, going all the way back to when I started.
Are we gonna go back 200 fucking years on this?
We could, but we're not going to. going back to when I first got into politics in the early 90s and really started to flex, my mind and my muscles in regard to the political playing field, you don't have to like the president, but you deserve to have your faith rewarded. And every president, whether, everybody could sit here if they want to, and I've heard some people go, Joe Biden did nothing wrong. Okay, that's what you believe. Bill Clinton did nothing wrong except get a blowjob under the desk. Barack Obama did nothing wrong except force people to have health care. Then if you don't have health care, they're going to fine you. Look, we could do this all fucking day. And there's a lot of good shit about Trump, but there's more bad shit about Trump. At some point, we, as the American people, deserve to have our faith rewarded by the government that some of us trust and that some of us look upon with a jaundiced eye every single day and go, we have 336 million people in this country, and we chose him. We chose him. We deserve to have our faith rewarded.
Giving your pool of choices, I don't think either of them should have been risen to the position. But unfortunately, we only get two choices.
Mm-hmm. Well, we get more than that, but only two get the grandest stage.
Correct. Because we refuse to add additional valid parties to our ticket. Now, there are independent tickets, and there's other tickets that you can run on.
Choose which chute we take to the ball removing machine. You can go in the left chute or you can go in the right chute, but it doesn't matter. At the end, it all comes back into one fucking stall where they take your nuts.
Exactly.
That's I feel that's our problem. It's such a fake choice. You've got one or two, and that's it. We need some more choices.
But I'm all for a third party or a fourth party. That makes sense. That actually gets some credence. Mm-hmm. So just don't come up with some outlandish, wild ass, crazy fucking shit as your ticket.
That's how I get elected. Outlandish, wild, crazy shit. The outlandish, wild, crazy shit is normal shit now. Because
that's the problem.
Because that's the point.
And that's the problem. They don't target guys like us who want intelligence
that way. They're only
in common sense.
Is where it's at. The crazy, normalized, radical shit now is the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Where we think everybody's fucking up on a bunch of shit. And we don't trust either side fully for anything.
Nope. Henry Rollins said it best when I went and saw him some years ago. And he said, with the exception of 2 presidential elections, he said in his lifetime, I'm willing to bet there was a few more than that, but I got his point. We had the choice between 2 people we wouldn't trust to do our laundry. Our choices were between, oh no, and oh fuck no. And somehow, oh fuck no wins every single time. But he's not wrong.
And that just reinforces my point. You only have 2 choices. Let's learn from our mistakes here. Okay, this really isn't working for the benefit of a majority of the people in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's such a rocky, we can't come to terms. Maybe we can get another party here that's kind of more mid and understands both sides of the situation. And it's the intelligent party. It's the one that's like common sense or just critically thinking party. Okay, does this make sense to do this? Okay, logically, yes, it makes sense. Then you worry about the moral implications. Instead of it's not so dynamic one way or the other. You're kind of mid.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Which would be great. Barack Obama, first term, ran as quite the moderate, as did Joe Biden in 2020. And then by the time Obama's second term came around, he went party lines, which is okay. You can do that.
He went socialist. He went complete socialist Democrat.
Correct. But
the whole Obamacare thing.
That's what I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
But that didn't happen in his first term. He got in the seat he knew, okay, I can do this, but I can't do this. I know what I can do, and I know what I can't do. If I get elected again, I know how far I can spread my wings. Good on him. But at the same time, when people look at him with this, much like the far right looks at Trump right now and says, this man can do no wrong. He is wonderful. People looked at Obama that way. I left the Democratic Party during the second Obama administration because I couldn't do it anymore. They weren't the party of the people anymore. Like you said, he was a democratic socialist. Only one time in the world has socialism worked. Sweden. Everywhere else it's tried, it fails. And heaven forbid you tell a Democrat, a hardcore Democrat, that the real Nazis in the world were the National Socialist Party of Germany. That they have no reference. They just think Nazi, fascism, Donald Trump. Not to say that they're far off, but they're too stupid to understand history.
Yeah, well, they're too stupid.
They don't understand the concept of what a Nazi truly was.
Right.
Because socialist is in the title. And the socialist way that the Nazis were handling it is that you have no choice. It's dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a socialist government.
Kind of like
weaponizing. The government gives you what it thinks you can survive on.
Correct. And who gets rich? The rich. The government.
Correct. The government.
Look at Venezuela.
The government. Yep. Well, the corrupt Venezuela.
Oh yeah,
God, it's so fucking corrupt.
Once a thriving metropolis, a destination for people who wanted to go on vacation to this beautiful land, now ruined.
No, fucking beautiful rainforests.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me to go to Venezuela now unless I had an M16.
And it's a shame. And that all started in the 80s, late 70s, 80s.
Mm-hmm.
All those little skirmishes we had all around the world over there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you can't tell certain people things. And I know I've spent time picking on the Democrats. I'm going to take some time to pick on some of these hardcore Republicans. You cannot, in good faith, have a conversation with some of these people because, again, they're all the way Trump. If Trump sneezed tomorrow, it's the biggest booger. It's the best booger. This is the best tissue. Everything he does is golden and perfect. No, folks, it's not. Stop. That's the world we live in. You're either with us or against us, which I can remember having conversations with Republican friends when I was campaigning for the Democrats. And we could have an honest conversation. Nobody got heated. Nobody got out of line. And by the end of it, we both learned something. You can't do that now. No. You cannot do that now unless you have guys like us who still believe in the art of conversation.
No, the lost art of conversation. Because it's just you either believe what I believe or you're evil. I mean, that's not the way to live, man. I mean, because you're coming from hate, you're coming from a place of hate.
Oh, don't get me started with that word because hate has no home here. Bring up Trump at a play. Anybody who has one of them stupid little signs in their front yard, bring up anything that you don't agree with them on. Hate has no home here. I really think abortion should have limits. Oh my God, you're a bigot, you're a hater, you're a misogynist, you're a phobe, you're an ist. You hate me. Yes. Well, hate has no home here. Hypocrite.
Well, but you see it on both sides. You see the people who, on the Democrat side who just follow it blindly, and you have the same on the Republican side who just follow the Republican party line blindly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And sometimes you get people that waver back and forth. Guys like me, but I don't claim to be a Republican or a Democrat.
Mm-hmm. I had someone think they had
I'm not a hard party. I have no hard party.
Somebody thought they had a gotcha moment on me because they looked me up online, and on April 1st of 2022, right in the middle of the Connecticut gubernatorial primaries. A friend of mine's father was running for governor. But unless you're registered in one of the two parties, you cannot vote in the primaries. So what did I do? Swallowed my pride, and I wasn't going back, so I went forward. I registered as a Republican, so that would make me a rhino, Republican in name only, just so I could get in, try to get Mr. Stefanowski on the ballot. We succeeded. He went, he lost. But, you know, I did my part for someone who I believed in what he wanted to do for our state. Now, that's a gotcha moment. Look, ha, ha, ha. Oh, Mr. Libertarian's a Republican. No, here's what I did. And I walked him through it. And at the end of it, luckily for me, this person was a thinker and went, oh, okay, I get it. Now, if that were anybody else with, you know, 2 brain cells to rub together and 4 IQ points, would probably think I'm hardcore MAGA Jones. And all it would take is one of you two, well, 2 if Herm were sitting there, to say, you have no fucking idea who this guy is. You don't.
Right.
But not that I necessarily need that, but it's just people just, they think they got a gotcha moment every single moment of the day. Ha ha! I got you. You once wore a red shirt. That must mean you're Republican. No, it means I'm wearing a red fucking shirt. I like red. I like black. You know?
Yeah,
get off my dick.
There's no gotcha moment here.
But yeah.
Have I sided with Democrats on things? Yes, I have. Absolutely.
Of course.
Have I ever sided with Republicans on things? Yes, absolutely. But
I may or may not like Governor Eric Adams.
If you can't
not Governor Mayor.
Fluctuate, if you can't fluctuate back and forth, you really can't have a true voice.
Exactly.
Because you have to look at both sides.
I've told one friend of mine more than once, you know, if I were to ever expose my ballot on any given election, you would see that it goes all over the map. I do my homework. I like his stance. I like her stance. I like this. And I vote my conscience, and I vote the issues. I don't vote party line. That's stupid. Even when I was campaigning for President Clinton those 2 times. Yes, I voted for him, but in the locals, I voted for a lot of Republicans who have gotten a lot of good stuff done in this area. Absolutely, 1,000%. But does that mean at that time I should have turned in my Democrat card? Absolutely not. That's dumb.
No, because you have to vote on the policies.
Mm-hmm.
Are the policies something you can live with? Because if you throw your vote that way, that this is what I do. This is going to happen. Okay, either I like it or don't. If I like it, I vote. If I don't like it, I vote for the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
If it falls more in line with how I my ideology.
Yep.
My worldview. So, I get it.
When I ask some of these hardcore MAGA guys, you know, be honest, which not a lot of them can, the hardcores, give me 3 good things and 3 bad things that Trump has done. Oh, they're quick to name the 3 good things, but they fall off on the 3 bad things. On the other side of that is my friends on the Democrat side. Give me 3 good things you can say about the Democratic Party. They'll get 2 out of the way, and then they go right back to their fallout. Well, it's better than Trump. That's not an answer. I'm sorry, you failed. And to you guys,
I have no faith in either party. I have no faith in either party right now.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
And it goes back to, if you're just a regular old American citizen who believes in this country and believes in the way it's done, the checks and balances, the policy and procedure, at some point we need, I'll say it again, and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. We need to have our faith rewarded. If you're actively rooting for Trump to fail, you're rooting for the country to fail. You're not Team America. Shut the fuck up. If you were rooting for Biden to fail, which I was not, although I've hated Biden for a lot of years, I never rooted for him to fail. I was like, somebody has to reel this guy in, and maybe something good will happen. But it's hard to do when you're slobbering pudding down the front of your bib all the time. That man could speak. We'll get to Ozzy in a minute because we've got a half hour left. If you ever watch some of his old stuff, Joe Biden was an articulate motherfucker.
Back in the 70s and 80s, he was very verbose. He was a very good speaker.
The Senate Oversight Committee on performance enhancing drugs in baseball.
Sorry, gentlemen.
Quite all right. And Joe Biden led that committee, and he is sitting in front of Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, and to hear that impassioned speech and the way he delivered it with truth, with logic, with knowledge, bullet points. If he'd have ran for president then, I'd have voted for him twice.
Yep.
But by the time Joe Biden ran for president, he's a drooling moron. He was sharp. Got to give him his flowers. That man was sharp. That's not the Biden term.
His first term, he was pretty decent.
As vice president?
3/4 of the way. Well, as VP, I'm talking about his term as president.
I'd give him a year. I'm with you on that, though.
He was good for about half to 3/4.
I was going to say about the first half of that first term, he was sharp, and then
through his campaign through to his election, he was pretty sharp.
Oh, on the campaign, yes, I'll absolutely give you that. That's why I said the first year, because you start noticing things, little things, and it just progressively grew. But man, I just feel as a country, we're getting cheated. We've been being cheated by our government. We've been being cheated by the folks in charge, who, again, they're empty promises. When we get home, I'm going to give you a piece of cake. Where's the cake?
Right. And here's the other scary thing, Chris, is that they have from now until the next election to stoke the flames on a candidate for both parties.
Mm-hmm.
One that everybody can agree on. And the ones that they're pushing right now fucking scare the shit out of me.
On which side?
Democrat.
Okay, agreed. There really hasn't been anybody on the Republican side. I don't know that DeSantis is going to run again. I voted for DeSantis. I wrote my vote in. You guys know this.
Yep.
But I don't mind JD Vance. Read his book. I've been watching him a lot more closely because we've lived through Trump before in the White House. But I'm watching Vance really, really close, and I like him. How is that going to change in the next 3 years? Don't know. But you're right. The Democrat side, right now, it's looking like either Newsom or AOC. And I wouldn't trust either one of them to pick my balls of the lint that collects there if on a really hot day.
No.
Although it'd be more enjoyable if it were AOC.
But scares the fucking shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And there are some really good people on that side that won't see the light of day because they're not as popular or they're not as verbose or they're not as in your face as Gavin Newsom or AOC.
Right.
I say this.
I have to give them credit for that. Is that they're loud and they come forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yay for you. Good. It's just kind of tone down the crazy a little bit.
Correct.
Dial it back a little.
I say this because I gave this guy so much shit when he was running for, was it representative? And now he's probably the most sane person with a D next to his name. John Fetterman. If he hadn't had a stroke, if he was just John fucking Fetterman, I think he could run for president.
John Fetterman right now. I'd vote for John Fetterman for president.
Absolutely.
Right now, I'd vote for him. Absolutely.
Right. Because you know what he is?
I want to see him address Congress in khaki shorts and a fucking hoodie and tell everybody what the fuck is going to... It's literally, I look at him and I'm like, that's literally Herm now as a fucking president. Yo,
right.
Asshole. That's not how we're doing it now. This is how we're going to do it. Literally, I'm like, that's Herm as fucking the next president.
When in the
people pick on him for that.
Crying out loud.
Because he's not towing the party line, Lynch. That's exactly why.
Because he doesn't give a shit. He shows up in a hoodie.
That's what makes me like him.
Right. He's one of us.
Yeah.
He's one of the he's the most I'm going to say this. He's the most relatable politician out of any of them that I feel reflect my values.
There you go.
The only one And that's saying something, because 4 or 5 years ago, I would have told you completely differently. But now I understand what was going on with him.
Right.
And he's saying things now, and he will denounce his own party. He will come out and he'll say the quiet things out loud.
You know who he reminds me of? Think about it. Go back in time. Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan would shit on his own party because he's like, guys, if we don't do the right thing by the American people, we're going to lose their faith. We're going to lose their trust. Yeah, there were scandals.
In that aspect, absolutely.
Yes.
But what I see out of Fetterman is the Democratic Party that we know, and I'm not comparing him to him. I'm talking the Democratic Party we know during the time period of JFK.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the Democrats up to including Carter.
You want to go deeper? Some of the things that he says and he does.
The working class Democrat, not the Democrats that made the Ku Klux Klan and fought against slavery. Not those motherfuckers. We're talking about the working class. I mean, Kennedy was so much so that he was rich as fuck and nobody held it against him. He was still the working man's person. He didn't know what a working man was as a blue collar per se.
Until he went to the Navy.
I was going to say I'm not saying that JFK did not work.
Fetterman is the Democrats I remember as a kid. Okay, those Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
The realistic socialist,
the union boss Democrats.
Correct. And they were fighting for the working class to get more. That's the Democrat I remember growing up. He reminds me of that. The party dynamic from rich to poor has not dynamically changed. The Democrats represented the Democratic Party represented the poor people for a very long time.
The last two Democrats that were like that were Bill Clinton and Al Gore.
Correct.
Because the economy was
everything swapped.
Yep.
That's when all the wealth went from the Republican Party to the Democrats.
Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at now. Look at your hardcore Democrats now and their supporters. They're all fucking multimillionaires and billionaires too. They claim, oh, look at all the oligarchs on the Republican side. Look at yourselves, motherfuckers. You got all these celebrities in Hollywood worth millions and billions of fucking dollars contributing to your party. You're just as guilty. You're just as guilty of the same fucking thing.
Yep. One of your biggest supporters.
You are flaunting you're using your wealth as power. You're trying to flaunt your wealth as power.
You are.
Which is what you accused the Republicans for 30 fucking years.
For your view, my issue is that I feel the Republicans tend to be more oligarchy in the sense of they are very demonstrative with the visual quid pro quo in that respect.
Yeah,
because it's a business relationship,
which has a tendency to incite people. All right, I think I don't think it's so much a quid pro quo issue as I don't think the monetary gain is the same way for an actor that wants to support something, maybe a social program or the LGBTQ rainbow concept. Maybe there is, and I'm just fucking naive. But there isn't an open display of we're definitely going to make. Nobody's going at the Oscars is talking about how much money they made today at the press conference because of the new tariff act. I guess is where I'm going. That's the demonstrative I'm talking about. Yeah, hey, okay. He literally you made 14.
Let's table this. We'll take another week. See if the Bondi Triangle produces something on the back end, and
it's back.
And revisit this in a week because we have 15, 16 minutes. I wanted to touch briefly on back to the beginning, the final show of Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath, and I have some pluses and I have some minuses. And there's one person to blame at the end of this But Lynch, you watched some of those clips. What did you think of some of the performances at the tribute?
The ones like we had discussed. Overall, I think all the artists did a really good job. You know how I felt about Ghost. I didn't think his voice was the right. Tobias is not the right voice for that song.
For Bark at the Moon? Maybe not. But I understood why they put him up
whiny. There. It was fucking phenomenal to see Jake E. Lee shred again.
Amen.
I think Jake E. Lee doesn't get the credit he deserves for taking over for Randy Rhoads and elevating himself to that level that quickly. Because he was a mid guitar player when he first started, and then he became fantastic. Some of his his stuff is some of my favorite stuff.
He had to, and I say that like, you know, how do you replace Babe Ruth? You don't. You have to become equal or better. You're never going to beat the original, but Jakey Lee had two choices: sink or swim, and he was a swimmer. That Bark at the Moon record, fucking fantastic. The Ultimate Sin, fucking amazing. And then they got Zakk Wylde, who I will never say a bad word about Zakk fucking Wylde ever in the history of my life. That is just a dude.
Not. You better hope not. Well, I'll get it.
You already know. You already know.
And come slap the shit out of you.
This is what I appreciate about Ozzy's solo career. Ozzy's solo career had phases.
Yeah,
you had the OG Ozzy Osbourne.
Heard.
You had Randy Rhoads, then his tragic death, and Jake E. Lee stepping in. Totally different sound overall, but it got better. It was as good and got better than what he did prior. And then you got Zakk Wylde, completely changed the dynamic of Ozzy Osbourne. I love every iteration of Ozzy's solo career. I can't say the same for Black Sabbath.
No, okay. Before we get into some of these performances, I don't say that I don't say the same about Black Sabbath. This has have to do with because look, Tony Iommi has been Black Sabbath for decades. Ozzy left, Dio came in, Tony Martin came in, this one came in. Absolutely, I love the Dio stuff. I love the Dio stuff.
Love Dio stuff. Love it. I got to be honest. I like Dio Sabbath better than Ozzy Sabbath.
I can't say the same. However, I like it. I won't piss on it.
Heard.
Hey.
No, but the performances were. I thought the performances were very good. It was very sad hearing him sing, "Mama, I'm coming home."
As the last number, I very much understood it.
I mean, I said 20 years ago when I saw him at Ozfest, actually going back even further, like 30 years ago at like Ozfest 1.
Whoa,
man, when's he going to retire? Because he wasn't getting around so great back then.
No. If I were to go back to
2000 and come 2008, I see him again. I was like, ooh, yeah.
What was the tour in '95? Osmosis. He looked frail then. Yeah.
I mean, the guy fucking punished his body, man. Hardcore alcoholic and drug addict.
Not to mention, he had the accident on the four-wheeler about 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yep, that fucked him up. That was during his the Osbournes period, the television show, the reality series. Again, his life has had these phases where he went from, the devil biting bats' heads off on stage to now he's a family man on television and now that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, two totally different phases. It was like,
sure, and I never minded the show, much like I didn't mind Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, because you got to see the side that you never would have before. Did I think it made, in certain cases, Ozzy and in a smaller effect, Gene Simmons look silly? Sure. But it also showed these are people who get up in the morning, they take a piss, they scratch their balls, they eat their breakfast. Oh, and they just happen to be worldwide renowned fucking rock and roll stars.
Right.
You know, the humanization, we talked about it with Rambo movies. You know, when you can humanize them, you feel like you're let in a little bit more. To your point, the performances, fantastic. I agree with you on Tobias doing Bark at the Moon. Although I told you when I sent you the video, that's not what I saw first. I saw Vernon fucking Reed and Nuno Betancourt on stage together.
That was really cool. Two of my favorite guitarists from that era.
Amen. My thing was, and I understood it, and I'm sure it's a partial decision. I'll give Ozzy props. Still sounded great. Yes, he had to sit in the chair because of Parkinson's disease and his spinal injuries and yada, yada, yada. That's not the way I would have wanted to go out, and I put that blame squarely on the shoulders of one person and one person alone. That's Sharon Osbourne.
Yep.
Sharon saw money. Sharon saw a payday. And if I can get these last dollars out of Ozzy, and look, Sharon's a bright lady, been managing Ozzy, manages other bands, put together Ozfest. That woman is smart as a whip. Do not get me wrong. But for her to roll her husband out there like that and say, this is going to be, this is
at his expense.
Right. And say, this is going to be your, I just went and saw Kiss on the End of the Road tour. Did they look the same way they did years and years and years for the 50 concerts I went to? No, but they didn't look feeble. Ozzy looked feeble. Ozzy looked like the 1999 All-Star game when they trotted Ted Williams out on a golf cart to throw out the first pitch. He looked feeble. That's not the way I want to remember one of my heroes.
And I had this discussion with somebody online about that. And that's exactly what I told them. I was like, I was sad because it's ending.
Yes.
But I was even sadder that it had to end this way. And I agree with you. That money train started back in the mid 2000s with the Osbournes, and they became a brand. The Osbournes became a brand, and they were in advertising. They were everywhere.
Oh yeah,
they were everywhere. Jack Osbourne went on to become he's now a music and TV producer. Kelly is in fashion and music.
But that's the work that they did. Did their name help? Absolutely, 1000%. But their hard work got them there. Right, nobody's going to let you produce a television show or create clothing.
Then here's Sharon. Oh, I can squeeze this one last thing out of Ozzy before he hangs it up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, instead of going out on a semi-high note, let's just add insult to injury.
He wasn't the feeblest looking on the stage that night because Bill Ward returned, Black Sabbath drummer, to do that set. And what you may not know is there was a drummer on the side stage doing the fills while he just kept time.
Yeah.
And Bill Ward looked like if my grandfather today got out of the grave, picked up a set of drumsticks, and decided to play for Sabbath.
I was going to say, decided to hit it on the 1 and 3. Heard.
Yeah, right?
God bless Bill Ward for at least showing up.
2-4 with a downbeat on the 1 and 3. Go.
God bless him for showing up.
I have picked on the Rolling Stones for years because Keith Richards has the same movement, and how that beautiful guitar tone comes out of down, down, up, down, up. That one move that he has when they play live, somehow it works. Does he have a ghost guitarist? Don't know, don't care. Bill Ward reminded me so much of Keith Richards during that performance. Just, I'm going through the motions, paid by the hour.
Right.
That's
not how you... Black Sabbath was one of the most influential bands early on in my music listening career. My dad loved Black Sabbath, and I fell in love with Ozzy Osbourne in his iterations solo, and that their music impacted my metal choices later. I was so steeped a new metal band. I want it to sound kind of like Zakk Wylde. I kind of want it to sound like Jakey Lee.
We got 8 minutes. When you first heard Sabbath, I'll tell you my story too. Look, I'm going to full disclosure. I even like Technical Ecstasy, which was a shitty album, but you can't beat Dirty Women. Dirty Women was a fantastic song.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I will give you that.
Never Say Die Can Suck My Ass, but Dirty Women was a fantastic song. When you first heard Black Sabbath, do you remember the year or close to the year? And it was for me, it was a lot like hearing Kiss for the first time. and I'll explain it in a minute. But go ahead, please.
That was oh Christ, it was it's like 8 or 9.
Okay, about the same time for me.
And I was like, wow. My dad started buying the solo albums, and he wasn't a fan of the Dio. So that kind of impacted me a little bit too. But I got those later on tape. But then I started hearing other bands that kind of sounded like them, and that made me turn. I liked that hard, crunchy guitar of Ozzy solo stuff. And I liked the raw of Black Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
So Metallica, Pantera, Megadeth, that kind of metal. I probably wouldn't have turned to that kind of metal if I had not heard that young. And I mean that changed my list. That has formed my listening habits from there on forward. That's my story.
Mm-hmm. Mine starts around the same time. I had to say it's about 1980. Went bowling with some friends, and as we're waiting for somebody to pick us up, somebody had dropped one of those old suitcase cassette things out of their car. And of course, me and my two buddies, we're going through and picking out what we like, what we don't like. I took the Kiss stuff. He took this stuff. We had our one new wave guy picking out what he liked. And in there was Paranoid. And I'd heard all the other stuff that I had grabbed out, but I'd never heard Paranoid, Black Sabbath. I hadn't heard note one of Black Sabbath. I'd never knew who Ozzy Osbourne was in 1980. But the minute I put it in, yeah, shit changed. Iommi's guitar, the way Geezer Butler phrased the bass, Ozzy's voice, fantastic. And then, you fast forward some years later, and I meet Herm, who, for the life of me, I never knew why he had a Black Sabbath cassette in his car, but he put it in one day, and we're driving around, and it was the Tony Martin version of Black Sabbath. It was the Headless Cross, a fantastic fucking record. And I was like, why do you have Black Sabbath? He just put the cassette in, and you heard the thump of the drum, the beginning of the Headless Cross. I'm like, why do you have Black Sabbath? This is so not you. He goes, I don't know. I just like it.
Somebody left,
and that was it.
Somebody left in my car or something, and then I liked it, and that was it. Like, yeah, like I didn't discover them until I started like leaving the house and was buying my own music and was into, like, that was never played in my house. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't. Dad was very much. Dad liked Western, the Sons of the Pioneers, fucking Chet Atkins.
Chet Atkins.
Stuff like that.
Way back.
Wait. Wasn't your dad a Roy Clark fan too?
Yeah, like some of that back then.
Yeah.
But then like Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. Dad was very much music from when he grew up here, like around here. Yeah. There's no black music here at all. There's only one fucking hip hop station in the state.
Good.
That's not really. Not
stream your shit.
I do. I'm just saying. I'm old. I like radio.
Same.
I like radio. I like radio. I like knowing the local shit and the commercials and all of that. I like it. But yeah,
one man wants to drive down the road, thump his music, and then hear.
Came in and it was in a, and somebody put it in and it was playing and they left or whatever, forgot it. But yeah, so yeah, I had a bunch of shit that was that way. Like
my man wants to ride down the road, thump to his music, and hear the call letters. Hey, it's WHRM, and we're coming to you with all the hip hop hits. And then 30 seconds later, you see what you like, and you like what you see, and you'll pay much less for quality.
Excellence Furniture.
49 to London Turnpike, Norwich Town.
I'm a big fan of local radio.
Q105 reminds you to party responsibly and always have a designated driver.
You know what other band my dad really liked that kind of
the Bangles
impacted me? Air Supply.
Oh, that was my mom.
Made me appreciate a good ballad.
Fuck yeah.
And what made a good happy ballad or a sad ballad?
Heavy Shuffle on my phone is Sweet Dreams. A fan-fucking-tastic song.
Great song.
Have you seen him lately? Before we close, have you seen the little short guy?
He looks great.
He looks like he just got kicked out of Disturbed. He's tatted from the shoulders to the wrists, and he's just,
great.
Fuck.
And he sounds good, too.
And he gets out there and sings Yacht Rock. You think, oh, shit, when did Limp Bizkit come to town? And he's like, close your eyes, I want to ride the skies.
Sweet dreams. Man, those are like those are like cinema quality fucking power ballads, man. Makes me appreciate good ballads.
Oh,
yeah, you go from Black Sabbath to Air Supply.
You know what I'm going to do when we clip out of here in about 45 seconds? Before we go to Speedway Review, by the way, check out Speedway Review tonight. We're talking all things Sonoma and, SVG and whatever the fuck. But I'm going to listen to Sweet Dreams. I'm going to come in with like a big fluffed out chest, and I would be, close your eyes.
You do you, brother. You do you.
Fuck you, Lynch.
You do you.
All right, we're gonna give this 1 week. We're gonna see if the Bondi Triangle comes to fruition. If it doesn't, we'll talk about some fun shit. But again, who's lying? Who's not lying? Think for yourself. Stop listening to Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. Think for yourself.
Yes, but also don't believe every fucking thing that you says it's a source either.
Correct. Thank you.
Yeah,
oh my God. Herm for the win. You know what? Just play the fucking music, white boy.
Heard.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
For monkeys. Right, man.
Judgment falls upon you at first light. I'm the hand of God. I'm the dark Messiah. I'm the vengeful blood. In the blackest moments of a dying world, what have you
I have the fantasy points for Speedway Review tonight. It's on my desk for review. There is no fantasy points.
Heard. There's no fantasy points.
None, ever.
None.
Fuck Duke,
Yeah.
fuck SVG, and fuck the
Fantasy
fucking
golf.
Diaz brothers.
Fantasy golf.
I'm sorry.
Disc golf. Fantasy disc golf. We need to start
I
fantasy
spoke out
disc
of
golf.
turn. Well, we'll see if it's on my desk next week.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
We'll see. Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Yeah.